Welcome back, iJust Cards, episode 15. And this week we got a good stack, but before we do that, I'm going to show you my percentages here. So I sent out a total of 233, and I've received 166 back. So I've been hitting about 71% success rate. I'd say the one that brought my percentage down would be the XFL and the WNBA episodes, just because those were a little more hit and miss. So not too bad. But anyway, we got a good stack this week. First up, we got Terrell Brandon. We got Dickey Simpkins. We got Scott Burrell. We got Coach Doug Collins. We got Billy Owens. We got Gail Goodrich. We got Calbert Cheaney. We got Cedric Henderon. Ooh, this is a good one. We got Dean Garrett. We got Muggsy Bogues. And to wrap it up, we got Lisa Leslie. So, let's dig in. Okay, let's dig in. First one, we got Terrell Brandon, who he came to the Timberwolves when the Timberwolves shipped out Marbury, and then when the Wolves ended up getting Sprewell, then they shipped Brandon back out. Probably one of their top 2 point guards they've had. I'd say Rubio is probably a little bit better, but Terrell Brandon for sure up there. Let's check out the cards here. Ooh, we got one of those 93-94 Fleer Ultras. Pretty sweet card there. Add that to the rest of those. We got one of these NBA Jam sessions. Probably my second favorite card next to those Fleer Ultras. Thank you, Mr. Brandon. Appreciate that. Next up, Dickey Simpkins. Now, old Dickey Simpkins, a guy who won a couple rings with Chicago at the end of the 90s. You know, mostly a bench guy, but check out the card here. Okay, now these are sweet. These are probably my third favorite cards. These Skybox Emotion cards. A little bit thicker. Just a nice gloss to it. Yeah, I'm digging this card, that's for sure. Thank you, Mr. Simpkins. Appreciate that. Next up, Scott Burrell. Now, Scott Burrell, I feel like every pack opened up in the early 90s was always a Scott Burrell with the Hornets card. He ended up sniffing a ring with Chicago, those later teams, for a year. So not too bad for himself. He coaches now somewhere on the East Coast, some like Southern Connecticut or something. Okay, let's get some 3 cards here. Okay, more of these 93-94 Fleer Ultras. Been sending a lot more of these cards out. See if I can collect all 400. But so that's a rookie card there. Next one, first round pick with the Hornets there. Man, these Hornets jerseys were pretty sweet too back in the day. Back when they had Zoe and Larry Johnson, Bogues. It's a shame those teams didn't do more. And then one more here. We got a Fleer Metal, 95-96. See if we can hit it with the light here. That's a pretty cool one. Thank you, Mr. Burrell. Appreciate those. Nice haul. Next up, Doug Collins. And Doug Collins, he played in the NBA, and then later on he coached. You know, he was Jordan's coach in Chicago in the early years. And then, you know, Detroit. A number of other teams, you know, executives. So pretty good basketball mind here. One of these NBA hoops cards here. Pretty sweet signature there from Coach Collins. With the Detroit Pistons with that interesting logo that they changed to in the 90s. In that Grant Hill era. So thank you, Coach Collins. Appreciate that. Next up, Billy Owens. Now, Billy Owens, Warriors, I think Kings, Heat. Check out the cards here. I sent him 2 cards. I'll show you the NBA Jam session. card first looks like Eric Montross there defending him. He's going by him. Obviously a little bit taller cards. That's a pretty cool one. And then the Skybox card. It's like a pretty sweet signature there. The blue ink with the number. So thank you, Mr. Owens. Appreciate those two. Next up, Gail Goodrich. Now, Gail Goodrich, Hall of Famer, 60s, 70s. Played with those Lakers teams. Won a ring with them. Obviously a little bit before my time. But I found some of these old cards that I sent to him. And they're in rough shape, but still a cool card. Looks like he's with the, I think this is the New Orleans Jazz. This was before, so New Orleans had a team. They were called the New Orleans Jazz. Obviously, there's not a lot of jazz music being played in Utah. And then they moved there. Pretty cool card. Yeah, a little rough shape, but pretty sweet card for being, let's see the year on this. 1979. So, pretty old card. But thank you, Mr. Goodrich. Appreciate that one. Next up, Calbert Cheaney. Calbert Cheaney, Bullets, Wizards, Indiana Hoosier. He's actually in Blue Chips, the old 90s movie with Nick Nolte. Him and Bobby Hurley, they're on that Indiana team that they play at the end there. So, let's check out the card. It looks like you have a little bit of cardboard to it. Nice little, that's kind of cool. So you put that in there, kind of like a card protector. It's pretty sweet. Whew, nice little haul here. So we got the 93-94 Fleer Ultra rookie cards here. I'll show you the Summer League jersey one first. And yeah, easily, like I said, my favorite card set for NBA and MLB. It's a nice look. Check out the other one here. First round draft pick in the corner. Calbert Cheaney, he played, like I said, he was with the Bullets, then they became the Wizards. Pretty solid career. And then, ooh, yeah, one of these emotion cards. Man, these are just sweet cards here. I think it says Tense. I think the Dickey Simpkins one said Chillin'. Just a cool card set. Thank you, Mr. Cheaney. Appreciate that and appreciate the extra padding you put in there. Next up, Cedric Henderson. Cedric Henderson, Cleveland Cavaliers. Played a couple years. Not too much. Not a whole lot, but I think the card is one of these. Let's see. Yeah, one of these 97-98 Fleer cards. The black on black signature here. This is a little tough one, but it's a sweet card. And usually the signatures turn out. But let's see if we can see it here with the old black Sharpie. They're interesting cards to send out because sometimes the signature pops, sometimes it doesn't. But still a sweet card. And those jerseys that they have, they should bring those ones back. Those are pretty sweet. I remember Bob Sura, raising the roof in one of those. But thank you, Mr. Henderson. Appreciate that. Next up, Dean Garrett. Dean Garrett, overseas. He came to the Timberwolves. I think he was probably almost 30 at that point. Played a year here. And for some reason, I don't recall, he ended up in Denver for a year, and then he actually came back here. And of all the big men that they cycled in and out with the big ticket when he was here in Minnesota, I'd say Dean Garrett was probably the best. He had Olowokandi, he had Urban Johnson, Stanley Roberts, Rasho Nesterovic, Stojko Verankovic. We can go on for a while here, but let's check out the card NBA Hoops. And it looks like, yeah, it's his rookie card. That's a pretty cool one. Old Dean Garrett. Pretty serviceable next to the ticket. So thank you, Mr. Garrett. Appreciate that one. Next up, big one here. Let me unclog my cutter here. Muggsy Bogues. Now Muggsy Bogues, him and Spud Webb, shortest NBA players. Pretty solid career for Muggsy. Was in Space Jam. So for the guy. He'll play with the Hornets for the majority of his career. Let's see, what do I send here? Okay, we got NBA Jam Session 93-94. These were the earlier jam sessions. Not as much pop to it. I mean, you can see, let me pull out that old Billy Owens. You know, the Billy Owens had a little more, you know, pop to it. But still a sweet card. I'll show you the back of it. Obviously, this card's in rough shape. But pretty sweet, though. Let's see that he added the number. And then, yep, one of these 93-94 Fleer Ultras. And this is a sweet one here. I like that. For old Muggsy. You know, pretty inspirational story. I mean, it just goes to show you, you know, no matter what, you can always accomplish your, you know, goals, dreams. Thank you, Mr. Bogues. Appreciate that one. Okay, last up here. Now, this one was a shot in the dark when I sent it. I didn't know if I'd ever get it back. It came back a couple weeks after I recorded that WNBA episode, but we got Lisa Leslie. Now, what do you say about Lisa Leslie? But, you know, probably one of the top 3, you know, women's players, WNBA, you know, LA Sparks, you know, a couple rings, you know, one of the best women's players. So, hopefully it's signed here. Let's check out the card here, one of these pinnacles. Oh yeah, we're in business here. So it looks like the black ink here with the number. It's a pretty sweet one here. Now, I didn't send the base card for this set. I wanted to, but I was afraid I'd never see it again. But this one's just pretty sweet though, you know. The old Style and Grace for Lisa Leslie. That's a sweet one there. Thank you, Lisa Leslie. I appreciate that one. That's gonna be a good one for my daughter. Looks like that wraps up episode 15. iJust Cards. Don't forget to like, dislike, subscribe, share, comment. So until next time, iJust Cards. Take care.